Good day, students. I am Mrs. Rosita Ngozi Achebo, your English teacher, JSS 3. We are going to take revision on our poetry and literature in English. Though we are not going to read the poems here, but I am here to at least to instruct you, to tell you the poems we are going to read for this forthcoming examination. We have 4 collections of poems to read. The first collection is We All Have Eyes, and we're going to read poems 7, 8, and 9. And the poem 7 have Oh Dear Mother, poems 8, Papa's Parcel, and poems 9, You Taught Me How to Fly. For the first collection. Collection 2, we have Poems for Nigerians by Joseph Efe Williams. And we are going to read again poems 7, 8, and 9. And we have Life as a Book to read. We have A Nigerian First and Foremost. And finally, we have Cherished Dream for this collection. Then the third collection is Wise Poems. And we have by Paul Henry and Maro Umebulu. We have poem 7, Words of Wisdom, poems 8, On the Sea, and poems 9, Our Leader. And the final collection will have Be Yourself. The same poems 7, 8, and 9. We have poem 7 as Help, the title. Poems 8, Mission, and poem 9, No Free Lunch. And you're going to read 12 poems for every school, 12 poems. Last year, we did not read them. Some of us read a different thing, and we did not answer the questions correctly. This year, we are giving you the correct poems to read, 12 poems to read under the objective test. Then we want to look at our literature in English. For this section, against section D, the prose, we have 19 books to read under here. And the first one we're going to look at is the prose. And the prose has 5 books. You have question 5 to 9. And you're going to answer only one question from this, from the prose. And you have the books under it. 5, question 5, you have Trapped in Oblivion. Question 6, The Uneasy Part. Question 7, Mountain of Yesterday. Question 8, Chidera Love and Bruises. Question 9, After the Rains. For your prose. Please, we have 5 books and you're answering only from 1. Then the short fiction. You have one, The Greatest Night. Then you have A Cry of Innocence, A Fool at 40, Mama Africa, The Great Mistake, and Rest House. And you have one question again to answer from the short fiction. Then finally your drama. The drama has questions 16 to 19. And you have, the first one is This Madness Called Politics. Then question 17, The Prince Must Die. Question 18, King Ozomo's Quest. And finally, question 19, Arrow from the Grave. So you can see that you are going to answer 3 questions that will give you 15 marks. In each one, you are answering 5 questions. Look at this question, question 5, under the literature. Trapped in Oblivion, for your prose. How you are going to answer it. The question says, question 5A, mention the 3 universities abroad that offered Kunle admission. Then question B, give the names of Nena's cook and driver. So, in answering your question, you are going to have 5A written. University of California, University of Texas, Stanford University, and B, you have Ogo. Ogo is the cook, and Lawa is the driver. For your prose, you are answering just one, giving you 5 marks. So for your short fiction, I have taken question 15, and question 15 is on Rest House by Patrick Oka. And he said, the question has it like this: mention 4 illnesses that Lehman drug could cure. And question B of it, 15B, say, who wrote Cinderella, a letter about the D's in Bounton Security? The answer is question 15A. You have, it can cure cold, it can cure headache, it can cure catarrh, it can cure rheumatism. That's the 4. Then who wrote the letter? Hezekiah wrote the letter. You have answered 5 questions under the short fiction. Then you now move down to your drama, the final one. Drama, I have taken question 16 from the drama. You have this madness called politics. It says, mention 5 promises of Dr. Okonkwo during the campaign. And you have so many of them that you're going to take only 5. And how are you going to present it? You have 1, wrappers, if you don't want to put it in sentence. You have 2, bags of rice. You have 3, indomie. You have 4, semovita. You have 5, tomatoes. You have 6, stockfish. You have 7, crayfish. Any 5 can give you the 5 marks. If you answer all of them, you're going to get 15 marks, 15 solid marks for this section. And you have answered just from 3, 1 from prose, 1 from short fiction, and finally from a drama. So let's look at our objective test, where we have the poetry. It has question 40 to question 45, and we are going to look at our general literature. He said, in the poem, Oh Dear Mother, by Sam Onobere II, the dash of the baby made the mother know he was alive. And you have your answer, the cry of the baby. Then question 41, how many stanzas are in the poem You Taught Me How to Fly, by Sam Onobere II? You have only 2 stanzas. Then question 42, what figure of speech is used in the poem On the Sea by Paul Henry Mario Omebolu? The ship roars and set on sail. The answer is A, alliteration. The ship, the underline S, and the underline S again on set, and S on sail. So the 3 of them, what you have there, the device is a alliteration. Then question 43, you have in the poem Life as a Book by Joseph Arthur Williams, what is the figure of speech used in Your Life is a Book in lines 2? The answer is hyperbole. Your life is a book in lines 2. The answer is a hyperbole. So if we go on to answer these questions as we have stated it here, definitely you would have finished answering the one for the prose, the short fiction, the drama, and your poetry. I want to look at our general literature for question 46 to question 50. It says, choose the correct option to fill in the spaces. Another name for a dirge is dash. Another name is elegy. It is elegy or dirge, a song for the dead. Then poems are divided into what? Is it in chapters, in acts, scenes, or stanzas? The poems, they are divided into stanzas. Then poems, question 48, how many genres of literature do we have? We have 3 genres of literature. We have 3 of them. Then 49, The oldest form of poetry is dash. The answer is ballad. And finally, 50. A piece of poem having 14 lines is known as what? Sonnet. Sonnet is a piece of poem having 14 lines. Thanks for being part of this class. Hope to meet you people next time.
Good day, students. Once again, I'm Mrs. Augustina Amamize. I'm here to revise the topic essay writing. As you all know, essay is a very important aspect of English language. So you have to keep writing essays. So as we learn today, try to put everything into practice so that you write better essays. So we start with the types of essays. We have 4 types of essays. First, we have narrative essay, descriptive essay, argumentative essay, and expository essay. We'll start with the first one, narrative essay. Narrative essay is a type of essay that tells a story. It gives a complete account of a story, an event, or incident which the writer experienced or witnessed. There are some useful hints on how to write a good narrative essay. The first thing is your content. What do you need to do in your content? In your content, you have to narrate events which are believable, credible, and possible. You should make your story appear true. Don't write stories that are unbelievable. For instance, you're narrating how you went somewhere. Maybe you just said as you entered the field, you started flying, which you know is not possible. So say things that are believable and credible, things that people will easily agree with. Secondly, you're expected to narrate the events in relevant details so as to give the examiner an insight to the events you are narrating. Thirdly, be concerned with the incident or event, the persons involved, and the time and place the incident happened. Since it's a story, there are so many things you have to be talking about. You have to talk about the characters, that the persons in the story, the event itself, the time and place. It's very necessary to talk about time and place. You can talk about the time. When you are telling your story, you can say it happened on the 21st of February 2020. You have to talk about the time, talk about the place. In the village of maybe say Lazama, you must call the place so that all these things will give credence to your story. The second thing is organization. Organization is a very important aspect of essay writing. The first thing you do in your organization is you should write your essay in a lively manner. Begin with an interesting, attention-catching opening paragraph. Let's say you are asked to write a story, an essay about your best friend, or let's say your best food. Then you just started by saying, the name of my best food is rice and beans. You have not achieved anything, because even the tomato seller in Ogbogonogo market can easily say that. You should say something that will catch your reader's attention. You can say there are so many kinds of food that I eat. Out of this all, I've chosen one to be my favorite food. The name of my favorite food is rice and beans. I've given you 2 different introductions. You will see that the first one just said what every normal person could say, but the second one was able to catch the reader's attention. It has created suspense, so the reader or the examiner will want to read more to know why out of all the food you eat, why you have chosen one to be your favorite food. Then the next thing is your paragraph should be properly developed and linked. Link your paragraph. When you start a story, complete one aspect before you go to the other one. And when you are linking, don't just write your paragraphs like that. You can use paragraph linkers like however, moreover, subsequently, or use firstly, secondly, thirdly, like that. You must link your paragraphs to show that one paragraph leads to another. You should arrange your incidents in a chronological order. That is how the incidents occur one after the other. What do we mean by chronological order? It means that first things must come first. If you are telling a story about someone that graduated from the university, you have to talk about how the person went to nursery school, primary, secondary before you go to university. You don't start about university, then you go to the beginning. No. First things must come first. Then we go to expression. Expression has to do with your use of language. You should try to expect to use language that is chatty and informal. Since you're telling a story, your language should be chatty. You are chatting, it's like you are discussing with someone. There should be a mixture of long and short sentences, but predominantly short sentences should outweigh the long sentences. Then another thing is that your language should have a quality of a first-hand experience, and also it should reflect your awareness of the presence of your audience. When you are telling your story, you should tell it as if you were there when it happened. Don't write as if somebody just told you about it. There should be first-hand experience. Maybe something you experienced yourself or you witnessed it happen to someone else. And as you are saying it, you are referring, make sure that you should be aware that people are listening to you. So there should be awareness of the presence of the audience. Examples of narrative essays, we have narrate the worst nightmare you ever had. That is a story. So even if sometimes when you give you a story to narrate, you say this thing I don't know anything about it. I've never had any nightmare. So why should I don't know anything about the worst nightmare. When you're asked to narrate a story, make use of your imagination. Even if it did not happen to you, you can use your imagination to just think of how it's going to be. Or it's possible it didn't happen to you directly, but it happened to someone and you were told about it. Another one is you were on a journey in which you witnessed an accident. Write an account of the incident to a friend. Then you might start by saying, I've never seen an accident happen. It never happened to me. I've never experienced it. No, that's not it. Any question you are asked, make sure you should know what to write. Even if you never experienced it, make use of your imagination. You must have heard about stories of where accidents happen, the things that are involved. So you must know how to write your essay. No matter how it is, no matter the topic, even if you have never heard about it, but just try and write something based on what you must have maybe watched it on a video, or maybe someone told you about it. So it must not happen to you before you can write it. The next thing is descriptive essay. A descriptive essay involves describing a scene, person, an event, or a place in order to create a picture of it. In descriptive essay, you try to paint a picture through the use of words. When you are describing, you use your words to paint a picture of the scene, the person, or an event you are talking about. It demands that one should have a clear picture in one's mind of what one desires to describe. If you are describing anything, have the picture at the back of your mind so that you can describe very well. Then there are some useful hints on how to write a good descriptive essay. The first thing is on your content. You are expected to give a detailed description of what you are asked to describe. Let's say you are asked to describe your favorite food. You should do it in detail. Give a detailed description. Give some ideas of the significance of what you are describing. If you are describing a person, describe the qualities you appreciate in the person. Let's say if you write about your best friend, don't just say the name of my best friend is Ngozi Okafor. You have to bring out the qualities that this person possesses. Paint a picture of the person. How does the person look like? The complexion, the age, the school the person attends. You talk about the physical appearance of the person. Then you go ahead to talk about the things you appreciate in the person that made you to consider the person to be your best friend. Then we have the organization. In organization, you are expected to start your description with an introductory paragraph in which you should mention the scene, object, or person you want to describe. In a descriptive essay, if you are asked to write about your best friend, you describe the person. How do you describe? You talk about the person's name, you talk about the qualities the person has, the school, the physical appearance. Then that aspect is your introductory paragraph. Then your introductory paragraph should be followed by a detailed description of what you are describing. After giving your introductory paragraph, you can say, there are so many friends I know, but out of them all, I have chosen one to be my best friend. The name of my best friend is Okoro Ngozi. Anyone that is reading it will want to know what is special, what's so special about this person that out of all your friends, you have decided to pick this person as your best friend. So that is your introduction. After your introduction, you go to the body of the essay. That is where you give the detailed description. You talk about the qualities of the person, the physical appearance, talk about the age, everything you know about the person, the complexion, and all that. Then, thirdly, you talk about your paragraphs must be effectively linked for unity and coherence. What do we mean by that? Your paragraph, one paragraph should lead to the other. Your paragraph should be linked. They should be joined through use of conjunctions. You can use word linkers like however, moreover, subsequently, and so on. Then expression. You are expected to make use of appropriate words which will best convey your description to your examiner. If you are describing a person, use words that will paint a picture of the person. If you are describing a place, use words that will paint a picture of the place. That even if someone has not gone there before, with the picture you have painted through words, the person can easily say, this is Asaba, through the words you have used. There must be clarity of expression. Your language must be very clear. Avoid words that are confusing so that there won't be any ambiguous thing. Let everything about your language, use simple and correct English. Don't use words that you don't know their meanings. Examples of descriptive essays are, you could be asked to describe a cultural event that you have recently watched in your community, or describe a market day in your area. Your description should be suitable for publication in a local newspaper. In your essay, whatever you're writing, be it letter writing, essay writing, you'll be asked to write 450 words. So you need to learn how to use details so that you can achieve that. When you don't write up to 450 words, your mark will be deducted from your content because you have not achieved the number of words you're supposed to write. The next one is expository essay. Expository essay aims at explaining a thing or the truth about a topic. It has to do with explanation. Some useful hints on how to write a good expository essay is, under content, you discuss at length. Remember, you are explaining, so it's different from describing. Discuss at length the topic you are asked to discuss. In most cases, you are expected to unfold the bad and good consequences of the topic. If you are asked to write how to prepare your favorite food, that's an expository topic. You are explaining how to prepare it. Maybe beans is your favorite food. Whatever aspect you are taking, you have to remember the good and bad consequences. You can say that beans is very good because it gives you protein, makes you to grow well. Then you can still talk about the bad consequence of beans by saying that when you eat it late or when it's hot, that it could trouble your stomach, it could give you stomach ache. So that is talking about the good and bad consequences. Then we talk about organization. There should be an introduction and a conclusion. The introduction must briefly explain the main idea of the essay. In your introduction, you explain the main idea of the essay, and it must be followed by the body of the essay. Your points or ideas must be fully developed in the body of the essay. From the beginning, let's take the topic now, how to prepare my favorite food. You can start by saying, there are so many kinds of food that I eat, but out of them all, I've chosen one to be my favorite, which is rice and beans. That is your introduction. Then the body, you talk about, since it's how to prepare, the processes involved in preparing the food. You talk about the ingredients you need. Those are the things that will form the body of the essay, and how you use the ingredients to prepare the food. You talk about it step by step, how one thing before go that is from one to the other. Then after the body of the essay, you sum up by concluding. Then you are expected to arrange your points in a logical sequence. That is, first thing must come first. If you are writing how to prepare your favorite food, you are not going to talk about the serving when you have not even gone to the market. You've not talked about the ingredients. So you must talk about the ingredients you're going to use for the food. Then you talk about the step-by-step processes involved in preparing it before you talk about the final outcome. That is when you serve the food. Your sentences should be a variety of long and short sentences. Make use of phrases or word linkers to link your paragraphs with one another. Then the expression. You must make sure that you state your facts, instances, and points clearly. Remember, it's expository. You are exposing. Expository means you are not hiding anything. Everything has to be clear. So you explain to the minutest detail everything that the person needs to know about that particular topic you are writing. Your vocabulary should be carefully chosen for effectiveness. You should use the correct words for your explanation. C, your language should be formal. You should avoid slangs. This is expository essay. It's not an informal letter or storytelling. It's not narrative essay. So you don't use slangs. You don't use meaningless phrases. Everything you use should be formal English. Example of expository essays will have how to prepare my favorite food or how to process cassava. Then the last type of essay is argumentative essay. Argumentative essay comes mainly in form of debate. It requires you to argue a point of view and persuade your examiner to accept your point of view. In an argumentative essay, there's no point of view that is bad. It depends on you to convince your listeners to agree with your point of view. So in argumentative essay, we normally have two sides. We have the proposing side and the opposing side. When you are proposing, you are talking for. When you are opposing, you are talking against. Useful hints on how to write a good argumentative essay. The first one is content. This is usually a debate in which you are required to argue for or against a proposition. So the next thing there is the content. This is usually a debate in which you are required to argue for or against a proposition. So in argumentative essay, you are not restricted to one aspect. You are either to argue for or against the topic you are given. So when you are arguing for, you are supporting the proposition. When you are arguing against, you are opposing the proposition. Then when you are, at least you should give 3 arguments. You should develop 3 arguments to support your point. Then maintain the stand you affirm at the beginning of the essay. If at the beginning you are talking in favor of the topic, don't get to the end of the essay and start talking against it. You must reaffirm your stand from the beginning at the end. You must talk on the same stand. Then the next one is you draw out your points carefully and present them convincingly. No part of the argument is bad or disadvantage. You cannot say, because I'm talking for, I don't have any points, or because I'm talking against, I don't have anything to say. Any part you're talking about, try as much as possible to convince your listeners to agree with your point of view. You are free to imagine and think of the possible argument that your opponent might put up, and you can refuse such argument to earn a good mark. When you are involved in a debate, sometimes you begin to think, when you have the topic, you can think of the points that your opponents might use to attack you. What you do in this case is you talk about the point, then you bring out your own points to refute it, so that even when the person talks about it later, it will not carry any weight. Then we'll talk about organization. Most argumentative essays require the presence of an audience. Therefore, you should imagine that you have an audience listening to you. Even if you are putting it in writing, that you're not doing a normal debate. When you are writing, let it be as if you have audience that are listening to you. It is compulsory to start your debate with the usual vocative. And what is the usual vocative? Once you want to start your debate, you start by greeting. Good day, Mr. Chairman. It depends on you. Panel of judges, accurate timekeepers, ladies and gentlemen. It depends on the audience you also have. If the topic is maybe people that are seated there are your students, you can say, and my fellow students, depending on the kind of people you have there. There must be an introductory paragraph where you are expected to state your point of view or position on the topic you are writing on. So after doing the usual vocative, you go by introducing yourself. I'm Okafor Ngozi, a student of Government Model Secondary School, Asaba. Then you state your stand. I'm here to propose the notion which says that females are better than males. That's an example. Then the next thing you talk in the body of the essay, you are expected to support your views with arguments, illustrations, and good quotation of some relevant statements made by knowledgeable people. In the body, you bring out arguments to support why you say females are better than males. You try as much as possible to convince your listeners to agree with your point of view. As you are still arguing, you can bring out quotes from people that are recognized, knowledgeable people, that whatever their sayings are reckoned with. You can use it to to back up your point of view. Then in the concluding paragraph, you are expected to reaffirm your position. You don't change your position in the concluding paragraph. If from the beginning you are proposing, that means you are in support. Don't go to the end and speak against that proposition. If you are proposing from the beginning, when you are concluding, you reaffirm, you still propose. If you are against it at the end, you still talk against it. Then the last thing is, there must be good paragraph. Then you still bring out your points logically. In expression, try to use good English. You must use simple sentences that you actually know their meanings. There's no room for slangs, as your language must be convincing. You need formal language to convince your listeners. You can use exaggeration for emphasis, but it must not be overdone. Then you can use some oratory techniques like reference to your audience from time to time. Even if you're not seeing your audience, once from time to time, you can say, I hope you agree with me. You are writing as if your audience are actually listening to you. You can use rhetorical questions. That's another technique of oratory. Using rhetorical questions that don't actually need any answer. This is to make your audience, to carry your audience along with you. I hope that with these things we have learned so far about the different kinds of essays, we can conveniently write any of the 4 types of essays. For me, this is goodbye from Mrs. Augustina Amamize, your English teacher. I wish you success in your forthcoming exam. Keep studying. God bless you.